Welcome, everybody. Glad you could stop by. So, what are we going to take a look at today? Today, we're going to have ourselves a budget, lightweight bug out bag. Now, since it's budget, obviously, this is not going to have every single thing a person may need. However, if you are on a budget, at least you could get this going and have something instead of nothing. Because the way things are going right now, there's a better chance than not that you're probably gonna need it. So let's jump into this thing and take a look at what I've gathered up to put in here. Now, the cost of this bag is right around $100, so, and that's everything, bag included. Now, I mean, it is a possibility that actual pricing, may fluctuate or be different in your area, or, that can all vary. Now, when I did this, I did try to source as many items from Walmart as I could, just because of accessibility to people. Not everybody has the ability to get online and order things, which granted, usually that's cheaper, but not always. So, anyhow, let's take a look at this. So, first thing is the bag itself. Now, admittedly, it didn't come from Walmart, but I did find it at Menards on sale. It was super cheap. It was like $5 or $10. I can't really remember exactly what it was, so I went ahead and gave it a $10 price just because I can't remember. So I erred on the high side. So anyway, moving on, we've got our whistle attached right on the outside here, which can be removed very easily. So I wouldn't take off with it like that. I would grab that and throw that around your neck, because if you're in a situation, the first thing you're going to want to do is toot that baby to try to get some help coming. So now we'll go into our first pocket here. Oh, and I believe the whistle value was about $1, I think. I gave it a $2 value, because actually I think it was a 2-pack for $2. So $2 value on the whistle. And this is not necessarily going to be in any particular order. It's just going to be what's in the bag. I just kind of put it in there. So I'm sure there's better organizational capabilities, but I'll just pull it out as we go. So we've got us a pair of safety glasses there, which are very important, obviously, urban or rural, either way, you could definitely need those, be it processing wood or just flying debris, or, especially walking through the woods at night. Definitely want to have something to protect your eyes. So gave that about a $3 value, which I'm sure you can find them cheaper elsewhere. I just kind of threw a value on it. So there's that. Next item, one of the little cheap emergency ponchos. Those only cost about $1. Now, granted, they're not that great. However, I would definitely rather have that than no poncho at all. So, what else are we having in here? Okay. Got some of the Gorilla brand duct tape, the 1-inch size, the smaller. So, obviously, this can be used for millions of things. Well, maybe not millions, but tens of thousands, we'll say. So lots of things, from medical to gear repair to shelter building. It's sky's the limit with that stuff. So that's worth having. I think that was about a $3 price tag on that too. Okay, we've got us a bandana here. Again, so many uses, from medical to, water filtration, you name it, wiping your face, cleaning up, making char cloth. I mean, there's a million, I don't have time to list them all, but that's on there. And those are usually, I think, about $1 or so. Maybe they come, I know they come in a 3-pack, so you could probably get the 3-pack, and there you go. And of course, any color would do. I just happened to grab red in this case. And we've got a pair of leather gloves, which are pretty important because, I mean, if you're in the woods or the urban, either way it goes, gloves are very necessary. I mean, if you're not gonna have the ability to get, proper quick medical attention, I mean, you definitely don't want to be cutting your hands all up and, having issues with that. Now, me personally, I like these mechanics gloves. They're pretty nice. However, they're not as durable as these. Now, granted, you can get mechanics gloves that are, but this pair isn't. But definitely need some gloves. So I went ahead and I gave that a $10 value just because, I mean, $10, you can get you a pretty decent pair of gloves. I think I've seen even the Wells Lamont around places for right around that price. So, and Wells Lamont makes really good gloves for a cheaper price. Oh, this right here very well may be the most important item in this bag, and that's a pocket Constitution. You can order these things online, various places, for about $1. And it's got the Bill of Rights in there and the Constitution. So this is something very important. This right here has been forgotten right now in this country. And it's a sad state of affairs, so definitely hold on to this. And if things keep going the way they're going now, this will be a collector's item someday. Next, what do we have? Okay, little bit of P-cord there, or 550 paracord. That's a 50-foot hank of it, so not a lot. I mean, I would probably prefer 100, but 50 could probably get you by. And once we get through all this, I'm going to show you some alternatives, higher end and cheaper on some items, just, for if you want a little something different. But this color just happens to be black. You can get it in any color you want, of course. Camo, blaze orange, you name it. So there's that. Gave the cord here about an $8 price, so that gives you quite a bit of room to work, because this here wasn't $8. I think it's like $5 or $6 or something like that. So gives you a little bit of flexibility there. Alright, that's going to be it for the small pocket. Now, let's jump into the main pocket. And for this, I'm going to go ahead and move the bag. Alright, now some of these items that I've put in here are basically no-cost items, as in, you probably have it already at home. Most people do. I went ahead and just put in a plastic bag, a Walmart sack there that I made sure had no holes in it. And of course you can use that for so many things. I mean, if you put 2 of them in there, and oh, I said no holes, but I didn't see that one, so that one's no good. But find 2 without holes and put them in there. But, you could even take those and put them over your feet. Like, say, if you were going through snow and your boots or shoes or whatever weren't waterproof. I mean, that would sure help to keep the snow out. So, just an idea. And they're lightweight and don't take up any space, really. I mean, plus you can use them for gathering, tender materials or edibles or, whatever. So then I also have a stainless steel water bottle. Now that one, I believe I got that one at maybe a resale shop or something, but only had to give 25 cents for it. And it's actually the single wall you know, so it's not insulated, so you can put water in this and put it by the fire and purify your water, sterilize it, you know, with this. So that was 25 cents. So, I mean, that's practically nothing, you know, at least not nowadays. So the next thing, got a little bag here, and I didn't include this cost on the list. I guess I probably should have, but I didn't. Same with this Ziploc bag. Obviously, I didn't include the cost on that because chances are you probably have some. But what I do have in here, and these are some cheaper options, but a little flashlight, which those are about $1. And this headlamp, which is a cheap one, it came from Harbor Freight, and it was actually less than $1, but it you know, it would give you the hands-free option, and it does run off batteries, so I mean, you don't have to worry about recharging. Just have you some extra batteries there, and you know, no, it's not going to be no 1,000 lumens, and you're not going to see 5 miles with it. However, you don't always need or want a bright light. You know, you just kind of need to be able to see what you're doing, and that would do it. And these medical items here, I just kind of threw in some Band-Aids and some antibiotic ointment, which I didn't assign a cost to because most of us probably have this already. And if you don't, you probably should. So I did not include this into the cost. So I tried not to get too many items because, I mean, I have all these items. So, I mean, I can make this stuff without getting a thing, but you know, I didn't want to add too many items in, you know, that were pulled from what you already have at home, unless it was just standard average items that everybody would have. Alright, next thing. So this is one of the higher cost items on the list, which that's okay. So that is one of the survival blankets, as you can see, from Walmart. I think those are around $11-12, somewhere like that, and they do have the Mylar heat reflective liner on it, and then it's like a tarp kind of material on the other side, and obviously it's orange, as you can see. So many uses for this, you know, building shelter, just simply wrapping up in it, just like this guy is here, you know. So a lot of different uses for that. But I mean, if you are going to have to be out in a situation, you're definitely going to need some sort of shelter, and this would sure help quite a bit. Next, all right, went ahead and threw one of these Stanley cook pots in here. And the reason why is because they're not super expensive. You know, these are around $13 or so. I think I actually picked this one up on Amazon here, I don't know, a few weeks back. They were running a sale on them. They were only like $10. So I think usually they go for 13 to 15, or, you know, it just depends where you get it. But it comes with 2 cups in it, but I've took those out. So anyway, got this cook pot. That way it's easy to boil water. It's easy to heat up some food if you need to. Whatever you need to do with it, you can do it. And believe it or not, you could probably make charcloth and everything in here if you really wanted to. So I assigned that, what did I give this thing? I gave it a $13 price because, you know, kind of middle of the road there. So taking the lid off, okay. Now we've got our fire making materials inside here. Now this canister is some, you know, petroleum jelly cotton balls there. So you could make those at home super cheap for a fire starter and put them in anything, just a Ziploc bag. Don't even need this kind of container, but it's what I already had them in, so I just threw it in. Alright. Now for my fire making, I gave it a cost of about $10, but that might be just a little low. Might need to up it to about $15. Just depends on which of these items you actually use. Alright, Bic lighter. I mean, everybody should have at least one of those. I mean, at a minimum of one. Definitely need to have at least two, though. Okay. And here are these UCO stormproof matches, or lifeboat matches, they're called. And, of course, I'm sure you guys have seen these before. And if you're new and you never have seen these before, look these babies up. These things here are awesome. You light them, you can dip them in the water, you pull them out, they light back up. I mean, they work every time, you know. Only drawback to this container is the exposed striker, but this is sealed, watertight inside, and there is another one in there, so good to go there. And also a little UST fire steel and scraper. And then I just threw in some of this Instafire fire starter just because it's cheap and it's readily available. This little bag here was $1. Get it at any Walmart. It works okay. Not too bad, actually. So there's that. Now, we're getting down to the end here. So for a knife, this one comes from Walmart. It's a Camillus camp knife, they call it. $10. And you might think, well, a $10 knife, that thing's got to be junk. Well, actually, this thing isn't junk. It's actually super tough. It is thinner. You know, it's probably 1/8 inch or so, maybe just a hair thinner than that. But it is actually a really tough, pretty good knife, actually. It does have a hollow grind, you know, which isn't awesome. But, I mean, I have batoned this thing through wood way thicker than I should, and it does have a sharp spine on it, you know, for processing wood or throwing sparks off your ferro rod or whatever you need to do. Basically, this knife here will do it. Honestly, it's way tougher than I ever imagined it would be. So $10 there. And the last item in the bag is a folding saw. Now, this particular folding saw is normally thinking about $20 at Walmart is what it is usually, but I actually found this, you know, found them on clearance for like 10 or 11, something like that. So, you know, these can be had pretty cheap. You know, and this one's actually a good one. When I said, you know, some other options, you know, you could get one of these Harbor Freight jobs, and they're about $7, you know, and they work, but they're not great. This saw here, you know, outcuts this one by far, but may not have enough money to get that one. May have to go the cheaper route. This is better than not having one. So if that's the best, you know, you can come up with to do that, you know. And also, let's see what else. And knife-wise, if you're not convinced on that, you could always go with a Mora. Now this one here is a Mora HD, and I scribbled on it with some mustard just to see what it would do, and you can see it kind of give it a tiger stripe kind of look to it, you know, different. But you can get this one. This one's the Mora HD, and I think it's around 15, 17 bucks, something like that. But this doesn't have a sharpened spine on it, so that's something you would have to do to it if that was something that you would need it to do. So, you know, on this, we've we've spent our $100 surely, you know. However, there is other things that I think should be in here. So if you could swing it, you know, if you could make it work when it comes to water, I would try to get a Sawyer Mini, and those are about 20 bucks. However, this thing is outstanding. It'll do 100,000 gallons of water. I mean, you'll never ever use it up. As long as you don't let it freeze or, you know, get tore up and you actually take care of it how you're supposed to, this will last you a long, long time. And also the potable agua, well, that's what these are. You know, the water purification tablets, also not a bad idea. And I think those usually run about 8 to 10 bucks, something like that. So if you can swing it, I mean, I would get this. This is very, very worth having. I mean, it, you know, arguably could be more important than this cup here. So just have to kind of weigh your options, and depends what your situation is. You know, some other additional items that, you know, weren't included on this, but you may have, you may want, you know, like pen and paper, which this happens to be a Right in the Rain. So, you know, all weather, don't have to worry about it, but that may be an option, you know, you may want to have for obvious reasons, you know, leaving notes, taking notes, passing time, just anything, you know, so you might want that. Also, another thing that you could probably put together is, you know, pretty cheap and easy would be a fishing kit. But that would also depend on, you know, your area, because obviously if you live in the desert, you probably don't need a fishing kit. Playing cards, that's another good thing to potentially put in there, you know, nonetheless, just for passing time and keeping sanity. So something else to think about, something you may have sitting around that you can put in there. And also, if you've got your saw, arguably you could go with just something like this. This is just a little Ozark Trail folding knife. I think this thing was only $3 or $5 or something. And, you know, they're not a great knife, but they're okay. I mean, as long as you take care of it, you know, and as long as you just used it in the way it's supposed to be used, this thing would last you just fine, honestly. It would take care of 72 hours, I think. So, again, just another thought. Something you could have. Now, when it comes to our paracord, another option is the tarred bank line. Now, this one here is 350 foot, and it's just a little bit more than the paracord there, but you get a lot more cord. And this here says it has a 235 pound tensile strength. So no, you're not gonna rappel with it, but you ain't gonna rappel with that either. So I mean, let's be real, it ain't gonna happen. So you can carry a lot more of this cord for the same size and weight of that cord. So another good option. Something else you sure you have laying around that would be good to throw in the kit, a little bit of bar soap here. You know, you definitely want to keep clean, you know, along with other hygiene products that, you know, you would have that you would probably want to throw in there, you know, toothbrush, toothpaste, things along that line. Like I said, I just didn't want to go grab a ton of stuff out of the house and throw in here, I could just tell you. So another good item that you probably want to go ahead and include. And actually, I'll just leave this one up here. So another thing, if you know, you wanted to go or had to go more budget and you couldn't go the better tarp there with the lining and all that, you know, you could easily just get you one of these blue style tarps, you know, you can usually pick those things up pretty darn cheap, you know, especially like if you go to Harbor Freight or somewhere like that. You can pick those tarps up for just a couple of dollars, and granted, they're not gonna do as much for you as this one would, but for this $12 price, you could probably pick up 2 or 3 of these. So just kind of have to weigh your options on how you want to do it. Another item for consideration of putting in there would be a multi-tool. This one here happens to be the Ozark Trail Multi-Force, which is actually a pretty decent multi-tool. You know, I've been using it quite a bit, and I like it okay, actually. You know, I mean, I do carry my Leatherman Surge with me every day, but this Multi-Force here is a good alternative. You know, this Surge here, by the time you buy the bit kit and all that with it, I think they're about $150. This one comes with the bit kit for $40. So, I mean, it's not bad. I mean, if you're in the market for a good multi-tool and you don't have one yet, check out this Multi-Force. It's really not bad. Not bad for the money. And something else, of course, in the lighting department, if you know, if you can afford it, I would definitely go, you know, with better lighting options. Now this one's a rechargeable, so you know, you would have to have a power bank or a solar or something else to go with it, so that's why I didn't really want it in the bag. But something like this, you know, just a regular AA replaceable light, you know, happen to be Olights. I mean, you pick your brand, you know, whatever you like, but them cheap lights, they work, you know, and if you're going budget-wise on here, you're probably not going to have the money to put an Olight in there, and that's fine. You know, that's perfectly fine. Those cheap lights will do the job. Another item for consideration is that bag there. So that bag there, normally $40, found it on clearance at Walmart for like $20, $25 or something like that. So, you know, better bag than that other one, you know, heavier duty, you can hold more stuff in it, etc., but maybe you don't have the $25 to spend on a bag. Maybe, you know, only spend the $5 or $10, and then you could get some other items here. So just kind of the way it goes. So anyways, just a few other options to go with it. So I guess with that being said, that I think that's a pretty good look at a budget lightweight bag. You know, I mean, if you guys have any other ideas that could have went in here, or things maybe I should have done differently or whatever, you know, let me know in the comments below. And I guess with that, we will see you guys in the next video. Take care.